So I'm in here picking some green beans, and I realized it's the middle of June and we haven't done a June garden tour. So let's go ahead and tour the garden today. Welcome back to Texas Size Gardening. Okay, let's take it from the outside of the raised garden bed here. You might draw your eyes automatically to these brown paper bags here. So I've been having an issue with rodents, and I mean, one of these days I came out here and there were like 8 tomatoes just like halfway eaten, 3/4 of the way eaten. So I'm not about sharing my tomatoes with the rats or whatever it is trying to get at the tomatoes here. So what I did is I just took some lunch paper sacks, some garden clips. I mean, if you have paper clips, anything that would really hold this together, string. And what I've been doing is I'm covering my tomatoes, and the tomatoes are still ripening in there, and this is keeping the pests out. So it's a win-win situation. But these are the Roma tomatoes. I went ahead and pruned back a lot of the branches that were coming off of this tomato here, and I did leave one that is going to grow up again, and in fact it has some blooms right there, so I'm not worried about that. I've had a lot of tomatoes from this plant. I'm really happy with it. Definitely be growing the Roma tomato plant next year again. Down below here we have okra, and if you notice, there's actually one right there that needs to be harvested. I'm gonna leave it because my parents are supposed to come over later, celebrate my dad's birthday, so I'm just gonna leave that there and I'll have my mom harvest it. But on this side right here, this is a Kajari melon, and it's already getting tall. It's about to go over the trellis arch there. And the cool thing I noticed this morning is that it has, if you can see right there, baby little melons. So I'm hoping they got pollinated. Saw another one this way. Where'd it go? There it is. They're just all over the plant, so can't wait to have some melons. Now those melons are personal size, they're not huge, but they are plentiful. I've got a little Black Beauty tomato plant growing right there. That's just blank. There's nothing there. And here is a Cherokee Purple that's been growing. I did have a lot of tomatoes early on down below, but they were green and my little buddy was picking them. So kind of pruned back everything to where he couldn't reach it. And they're already starting to set in their new blooms. So I'm looking forward to getting tomatoes from this again. And then that's basil. We started that from seed. We've got another Golden King of Siberia here, and it's already getting tall. And then this one's another Golden King of Siberia. So if you notice with a lot of my tomato plants, and you'll see here in a little bit, I pruned back these bottom leaves just because they get a lot of splashback from rain, watering and stuff like that, and it turns the leaves yellow. So here in about maybe a week or so on this little guy, once he gets a little taller, I'll take off those bottom 3 branches. Then we've got some green beans that just have gone a little crazy over here, and because of that I needed to add this other trellis system support. And I have another Kajari melon, which I thought they didn't give over here, but apparently they did. So it's one of those down there, so it's doing good, so I'm just gonna keep it there. They can arch over this trellis here. Now we did install a drip irrigation system. I got tired of coming outside and watering the plants, standing out here with a water hose. So that's all the lines and tubes that you see there. We're at the lemon tree. I say lemon, but it's really lime. And these guys are just loaded with limes. I think I just separated some of those. Aloe vera. This is really good for cuts. If you have patches of skin that are dry, Even if you take the inside and you mix it in with your shampoo, it does really good for your hair. Bless my sweet husband, he knows I love roses, and so he went out and he bought me some trellising roses, because actually next year we're going to build 2 mini raised garden beds and do an arch over a bench that we have, and we're gonna make that a rose trellis. So he bought me this beautiful, like a pink salmon rose, and then he knows how much I love purple, so he bought me like this really light violet purple rose as well. Okay, we're at the Grow Tower, and the Grow Tower, if you remember, is a mixture of strawberries and green beans. Hey guys, we got some video crashers here. How's it going? It's a mixture of strawberries and green beans. So all these little flowers you see here, those are strawberries. And the green beans, these were planted really behind every other green bean I have. So I mean, these maybe in 2 to 3 weeks I'll see blooms from them, but I'm not worried. I do a lot of succession planting. Here's some more strawberries. And these fellows here have already sent out runners, which I need to cover up with dirt so that they can start producing as well. But same thing here. My little one came out yesterday and he harvested a lot of strawberries, and actually I think he forgot some. There's some still in there. My old faithful here, and she's producing more yellow squash. Now, here's something I want to share with you. My other squash plants were getting attacked by vine borers, which they land eggs. This little moth will land eggs, and the eggs will hatch and they'll dig into the vine of the squash plants, and they'll just eat it from the inside pretty much, and they take away the nutrition going to the fruit. So I saw on YouTube a couple of people doing this trick where they wrap their vines with aluminum foil. So we're gonna see if this works, because I do have a new wave of squash that are growing right now, and I'd hate to lose those to vine borers. So we're gonna test it out with ye old faithful here. These are my miniature roses, mixture of yellow and pink, and they've grown. I found these roses at the grocery store. I mean, they were like $5, and they were like this big in a tiny little container, and I transplanted them and they loved it. Hey there, want to say hi to everyone? Say hi. So this is the Jing okra. It's an orange okra. We've got some coming in. And then also we've got epazote. That's an herb. We use that in things like empanadas and different guisados, or just different things that we cook with. And then look at this beauty. She's been really good. She blooms and produces, and she doesn't require that much water, and I thank her for that. Okay, here we are at the okra bed, and these okra have really grown a lot. Here is an okra bloom. If you haven't seen these open, they're gorgeous. I mean, I think besides roses, they're the most beautiful open bloom out there. But every single one of those you see will eventually become little pods, and then the pods will grow big. Now you don't want them to be too big, otherwise they become very tough and fibrous, and then it's not good. But see, all of these have okra pods, and in about 2 or 3 days they'll be ready to harvest. There's some more right there. On this one I have Berry's Crazy Cherry, and then this one is a Golden King of Siberia on this side. And same thing, as they get bigger I take off those bottom leaves just to prevent splashback. And then on the far left there I planted some Madhu Ross melon, and Madhu Ross is just another variety. It's a personal sized melon that will get I want to say about that big, and it actually is supposed to be very, very sweet. So I haven't had the Madhu Ross, so I'm interested to see how that tastes like, and I'll definitely do a taste video on that one. If you're a part of my YouTube channel, then you saw how we did this gravel walkway. We did on the exterior and then also on the interior of the raised garden beds. But I'll go ahead and link that up top here if you're interested on knowing how to do that. My idea for the green bean trellis definitely went through. It worked. Next year we will be using cow panels though. But this has really given a lot of shade to this area, which is nice when it's hot. But here we have some red noodle beans, and they're already going up their trellis area. Same thing, they'll go up, they'll tower to the other side, and then we'll get some nice shade there. There's some more on this side. In the back here, these are my Blue Lake pole beans, and these are the ones I was harvesting, but I'll leave them here so that my mom can harvest them as well. On this side, these are my Kentucky Wonder green beans. And they're starting to meet halfway here. So these are bush beans, and you guys were with us when we sowed these. We had the dragon tongue green beans and the yellow wax beans. So here's the dragon tongue, and they're beautiful green beans, and when you cook these, they actually turn green. Most bizarre thing, but they're really good, and they're just pretty. Here's a baby one coming in. And then, let's see if I can find, here's some yellow wax green beans. Over here on the peppers, these are all serrano peppers. And of course we have the bell peppers. We've got tons of jalapenos. There's more peppers in there, hot peppers. And we've got poblanos. And they're all over the place in there. Here are my cherry tomatoes. And actually on the cherry tomatoes, I have a lot of green tomatoes. So here in a couple of days, they'll start turning red. Now, if you notice, we're missing something. The tomatillas that used to be here, they're gone. They were taking up a lot of room, which next year we're going to build them their own little bed. But the problem with that was they were shading all of this, and so a lot of the vegetables back here weren't getting any sun. So I just had to make the call and take them out. I did plant sugar baby watermelon here, so the vines will grow out and they'll cover this area here. But besides that, I'm not going to plant anything. I'm just going to leave it ready for the fall. I amended it, I mixed it, so this will be ready for some fall crops. And then the Roma tomato is right here. Again, I trimmed it back a lot. Look at these guys, they're just hanging up, just hanging out. They're just letting me know they're right there. All right, I see y'all. Probably one of the least shots I take when I'm filming this is from the backside of the raised garden bed. But as you guys can see here, I come back here also and I harvest things from the backside. And every now and then I'll have plants that will just choose to come this way and just trellis back here, which I'm okay with. I just have to remember to come back here and check them. Otherwise I forget, and then I lose a lot of good crops. Here's some more of the squash. This is yellow crooked neck, and I did more of the aluminum foil there. Now, I do want to point something out to you guys. If you notice that your leaves on your squash plants, like this one here, in the middle of the day just look like this, it's not because something's wrong with the plant. It's just during the day with extreme hot weather, the leaves will get like this. And then you'll notice in the evenings, once it cools down, the leaves will start to perk back up. But it's fine. It's just, that's what they're doing, just to kind of deal with the heat. That's a rondinini squash. And if you follow me on Instagram, this is the one that came out with the, let me get in there real quick. This is the squash plant that has the conjoined twin squash. So I'm just letting that happen. We'll see how that goes. Chili Pekin. I picked these up from my mom's house the other day. It used to be mine, and when we moved, I just never picked it up from her. Well, now they're back home with us, and I had some the other day when we cooked some, and holy moly, these little guys are spicy. I love it. I needed more space. Now next year all of this will look good. We're gonna build raised beds with cow trellises on them, so it'll look nice. Golden King of Siberia. Barry's Crazy Cherry. That one's getting close to being tied on the trellis. Another Golden King of Siberia. And then this one here, this is a late starter. This is a Barry's Crazy Cherry. All right, let's have a look at the cucumbers. And you guys were with me when I sowed these cucumbers in seed. Well, now look at them. They're producing cucumbers. So there's one. Here is another little one. There's another one, little rounder. There we go. There's another one. We've got cucumber dars coming up here. And then I've got some lemon squash on this one, as well as on that one. And those don't have fruit yet, but they'll produce here in about a week or two. This is Gogo's green bean patch, and he's got a lot of blooms. I do see a lot of green beans, so he'll come out here and he'll definitely harvest these. He likes to do that. Purple tomatillos in the back that I started from seed. Okay, let's go into melon row. So these are some more Kajari melons that I planted here. They'll just grow up the trellis. On that one, these are blacktail watermelon, and these will grow up again and they'll trellis down that way. The other day I planted some Minnesota midget melons. Those are kind of like the Kajari and the Madhu Ras, but these look a little bit more like what we're used to. This is a mixture of Sugar Baby and blacktail watermelon, and these are going to start to trellis up pretty soon. I do have a video on how to plant watermelons in containers, and I'll link that here. But it is possible. You just have to stay on top of giving them proper nutrition every week and being consistent with your watering. This is a Royal Golden watermelon. So again, these are personal size watermelons. These are also personal size watermelons. And when you get those compact varieties like that, the way in which they grow, you can do it vertical because they're not going to sprawl out as much as a giant watermelon or a giant melon. So you might hear these referred to as icebox melons, and it just means they're big enough to put in your fridge or in your icebox. Okay guys, I'm going to sign off the same way that I signed on, which was harvesting some green beans. So I'll see you guys next time for a garden tour. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here to Texas-Sized Gardening. I try to keep my videos short and sweet and to the point. We'll see you next time.